lead us not into temptation, he says, is not a good translation. And do not let us fall into temptation is better. Well, the fact is, fall and lead are completely different verbs. So I disagree. I completely disagree. But there's, I have my own reasons why.
So when I went to the Greek of this passage, it looked to me like the Greek says, "Lead us not into temptation," or yeah.
Right. That's actually an accurate translation. The thing is, what do we think we're saying?
Yeah.
What
does that mean? What do you think that means?
So
that's it. That's it. Wait, hang on. Let's talk about that for a second. What does it mean when we say "lead us not into temptation"? Is the Lord? Go ahead.
Well, let me explain. I had someone email me this question, and I had read the article. I had encountered the article. I was just like, I'm not going to spend time. And then I got an email about it, and I'm like, I'll give it a little more articulate response. I made basic 3 points. The first, pyrosmos, that's the word for translated temptation, has a larger semantic range of meaning in terms of testing and trial as well. So if you just looked throughout the apostolic writings for this word, for the Greek word pyrosmos, you'd see some various, you'd see the range of meaning. But here's another point. Another point is that our prayer is not for God. Our prayer is because our Father already knows what we need, right? But we're supposed to search our heart and to ask, and in that process, He's developing our character to know Him and to be aware of our dependency on Him, right?
Yes.
And so my second point is that the prayer educates us concerning our sinful nature and to be aware of it and vigilant concerning it. And that's parallel like Mark 14:38 in the garden. Yeshua says, be vigilant and prayerful concerning trials and temptations, right? But here's the final thing, is that you'd have to go into the Psalms and change a bunch of Psalms. Here's, for example, Psalm 71. Do not deliver the soul of your turtle dove to the wild beast. So it's metaphor, but what's he talking about? Who's your turtle dove? Do not deliver your soul to the beast. Well, to use the Pope's reasoning, I'd say, well, it's not God who's actually it's not like God would deliver the soul of his turtle dove to the wild beast. Do not forget the life of your afflicted forever. Well, if we say God don't forget, is it because God will cause us to forget? Here's another, Psalm 140. Do not grant, O Lord, the desires of the wicked. Do not promote his evil device. Psalm 141. Do not incline my heart to any evil thing, to practice deeds of wickedness. Do not let me eat of their delicacies. Here's Psalm 143, verse 2. Do not enter into judgment with your servant, for in your sight, no living man is righteous. So the use of the do not something, where that something causes us to think, oh, would God actually lead me into this? Would he actually lead my soul to the wild beast? Would he give me into the desires of the wicked? Would he actually incline my heart to evil? Why would King David pray in a similar phraseology that we see in the Lord's Prayer? So it does. I'm okay with the question that maybe is behind the Pope's thought on this. Is like, wow, people are always asking, like, what does this mean about God? But the response, in my view, is not to change the translation. It's a teaching moment. It's a moment to say, well, let's look at the scriptures and say, what is prayer for? Yeah. Does God really, when he hears our prayers, does that mean I'm teaching God something? Or does, like Yeshua says clearly, no, he already knows what you need before you ask.
Yeah.
Hey, Rob and I like talking about the Bible, and if that's the kind of stuff you like listening to, you should subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can do that by clicking this round thing over here. Now,